Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Final Show Films. I'm Sen, your executive producer here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters over at patreon.com/fsfilms. Those being Jerry Alexander, Catwater Flame, Samantha Bates, and L, or the Shard System, without whom we'll do nearly as much of the things that we do. So, thank you all very much for your support over the years. And if you're watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Next.
It's like a jawbreaker, I imagine, where you just build
We're live.
on the surface of Mars until it's big enough to be seen from Mars.
Look,
That's my theory.
Something happened.
I like
Jack's
how we're just
camera
completely
fucked up.
talking
Yeah,
through
the
fact
I
that
am.
we're live.
If something is visible from the surface of Mars, it has to be bigger than the planet Earth itself.
just
Yeah. So
don't
that
give a fuck
it's
anymore.
like when you build like a city on top of an old city. It's like that. So I imagine that Earth is at this point just a jawbreaker.
I need
With
two cities, one old city and one young city.
It's a big demon you're trying to exercise.
needs its walks.
And to be fair, I don't know if it's visible to the naked eye from the surface of Mars, but I don't think it takes a strong telescope.
Okay. I need a word with the writers from Games Workshop, is all I'm saying.
I mean, they'll give you several thousand. None of them will be appropriate.
We have a new best intro.
Wherein we just don't do an
We just-
intro.
We just start in media res to a conversation that has no context to it.
Oh,
That
there's
would be
there's some
complete-
context. We're
No,
by the way,
no,
everybody,
no.
we're here to play Warhammer 40k.
Let's be clear, to have no context and will be completely confusing to people who did not get the first couple minutes of it. Even with that.
But
Amazing.
hello everybody. I am Shawnee, and I am your game master for this Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory campaign. Joining me today, visible from the surface of Mars, is Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and I'm playing Aristarchus Dactyl. He's a member of the Ordo Mechanicus, and very happy to be here.
Visible from the surface of Krakoa, it's Jeremy.
There you go.
Does that mean like I'm in the ocean, or am I on Krakoa, or like no?
However you want to define it.
I'm
We're
on
gonna-
the Marauder
we're gonna-
ship.
I was
I'm on the
gonna-
fucking Marauder ship because you can see me from the surface.
That's true.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Remy Mara, guy who can get you what you need.
But can it get you what
And
you want?
honestly would function better on Krakoa than he does on
So
this
much
planet.
better.
Visible from the front door of the library, we have Mara.
Oh, I'm not there anymore.
No, but you're not there. You're visible from the front door.
They
Mm,
didn't say how.
that's fair. Okay. Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Tina, Orc Pilot.
Visible from through that door that's right next to me, if it was open, Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I am playing Blair Hart, Ganger Scum.
I have to try and find two more of these.
It's one really easy setup.
Invisible except on Bi Visibility Day, Sen.
Well, I guess
There you
The
go.
good one. That's a
pretty
real good one.
Yeah, that's really.
I'm playing Saris Artinos, and Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, and this stream is powered by Sirenscape.
Saris is a psyker.
Yeah. Sarah, what Saris is largely unimportant until I deem it to be important. She's an inquisitorial.
Not a good enough reason to use the word deem.
Yeah.
Perfectly good reason to use the word deem. It's appropriate.
And visible from the surface of wherever is higher ground than you, Julia.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I like that. Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Laurel Fire, the Eldari Corsair.
Sen, you're
Yeah.
grounded for not doing bits.
See, the one that you missed was visible from live on the internet.
But when last we left off, the party had done a bit of investigation. With the permission of Lord Malton Tandris, they were able to inspect the former room of Janaea Tandris and gather a bit of potential information about where she might have gone when she left the noble family, or rather was exiled from the noble family. Gathering as much intel as they could from the site, they then decided to gather a bit more on the way down, with the inquisitorial agent of the party heading to the headquarters of the Steel Watch, the law enforcement of the planet, to specifically speak with the Adeptus Arbites agent in charge of operations in this hive city.
Oh yeah, we should roll our objectives.
Yes, you should
I
all
was
roll
just
your
rolling and
objectives.
letting Shawnee finish.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to ask you to roll objectives after I was done with the recap, but yes.
Yeah.
After which gathering information, the group decided to split ways to find places to rest for the evening. With Tina and Remy heading back to Remy's place, Saris heading for the local convent of the Sisterhood of the Blazing Howl, a group of Adeptus Sororitas stationed on this planet, with Blair heading to the
Wastelanders.
the Wastelanders hideout, to Wastelanders Fortress, to spend time with her sisters in the Hostile Hearts, and with Aristarchus making his way down to a walking tour of the various churches on the planet, finding his way to one that had miraculously survived the collapse of several layers of the Underhive, in which he found a reliquary containing a relic shotgun that had been kept in this place that now seems to have been abandoned. But we'll pick up with the person who we don't know where they've been because the player was absent last time. Laurel. Where would Laurel have gone after having been told to find somewhere else away from Saris, because Saris was heading to a place that would be absolutely unwelcoming to a Xenos?
That's a really tough question. Well, I don't think she would have stuck around House Tandris. She's been told to, she's a free agent. She's allowed to come and go.
Yep.
It's gonna be very hard for her to single-handedly do anything just because of xenophobia, but
hard but not impossible, especially because Eldar do look more like humans than any other Xeno species, really.
True.
It's just the armor that gives you away, really.
The armor, and depending on the Eldar, your eyes can have unnatural colors,
and the
ranging
ears.
from the ears as well, but those can be sort of hidden. The big thing about the Eldar is, aside from having a slightly elongated facial structure, their eyes can be a variety of colors that human eyes normally cannot, including pitch black, like just completely inky black void.
Her eyes are icy blue.
You just spock the ears and it's fine.
I think she still wants to look for more leads on Janaea. So I think she's probably going to delve into some levels of the Underhive and start like lower than we've been going to see if she can't just start sussing out if anybody has seen the two of them.
All right. How are you approaching this? Are you just sort of trying to listen in on conversations? Are you interrupting people to speak to them directly? Are you intimidating? Are you investigating?
I think she's going to start out by doing some eavesdropping in like a couple bars, and then if that's not really anything, hit really hard investigation.
All right. Roll me an alertness test. Your DN's going to be 3 to see if you can overhear anything that might be relevant.
Awareness?
Yes.
No.
And a
Oh,
complication.
Ooh.
and another ruin.
Would you like to spend a wrath to re-roll 2 of those dice?
Actually, I think I would.
Start with 2.
Hey.
Hey, that'll get you enough.
What's our ruin count right now?
7 now.
Good. I don't have to spend. I only have to change our glory.
You're welcome, everyone.
So, all right. This is a functional complication. So you're sort of idling in one of the shadowed corners of a bar, when there is a drunken voice that begins to get very loud, and you can't help but overhear the contents of what they're sort of slurredly saying. And then that chained up bitch stared me down like she was something important. Was about ready to smack her in her place when that sparked up idiot got in the way. I swear if I'd had my shotgun on him, he sort of derails off into grumbling. But just from the bit of conversation that you're able to overhear from the things you're listening to, this seems to be the description of the people that he's tirading about matches Janaea Tandris and Tycho Mordoric, which implies that he's seen them at least in recent memory, if he's that drunk and still is going on about them.
So I think at this point, Laura would take a deep breath and then stand up and approach said gentleman.
And as you approach, the individual sort of looks up. He's burly, but he's not by any means impressively armed or armored. It looks like there might be like a stub pistol on his belt and maybe a club that he could swing around. He's not wearing much in the way of armor, like some old bike leathers and stuff like that. Completely bald with an Aquila tattoo on his forehead. And then there are 2 or 3 other individuals that are just sort of in similar states of inebriation in conversation with him. And as you approach, he looks up. Yeah. What's this knife-eared mutant got doing over here? What do you want, mutie?
As much as I appreciate the very, very nice compliments, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. I would like to go the easy way, but the hard way is more fun. So she will set down a bag of 20 crowns. The chained woman you mentioned. And the Sparking Man, exactly where did you see these individuals?
Roll me a... What kind of test do I want to make this? Because you're trying to persuade them with money.
A wealth roll?
You're trying to get something out of them. You're not trying to convince them of anything. You're trying to get them to listen and pay attention. Roll me a leadership test, and if you want, you can expend that one of your wealth to add an automatic icon to this.
Okay.
Your DN is going to be 3.
Okay. So I have to reduce my wealth by 1?
Yeah.
Cool. I am officially broke.
So the rest
Doesn't mean you're broke. It just means you don't have enough wealth to make influence on a role that cares about money.
That's fair. So I then put
none of my money is mine. That's why I don't have any wealth.
1 bonus die into
You just get an automatic icon on this.
Okay.
So what automatic?
So if you spend that 1 wealth, you have at least 1 icon on this roll.
So right now, that's
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna
you have 2. If you spend your second wrath, then you will get a third one. If you can manage the roll, you only need 1 more.
Yeah, let's go for it.
And you get it. Oh, by the way, what's everybody's objectives?
Since I'm in the spotlight at this moment, employ knowledge you learned from an earlier path of your life to the current circumstances.
Gauge the approximate interrogative breaking point for an individual.
Reminisce about a forge world you have visited and compare it to your current location.
Solve
Use
a
gang
problem
slam.
with the brutality of the orc god Gork.
Oh no.
Use gang slang.
Declare the violence and villainy of authority.
All right. So, with 4 successes total, with the extra wealth spent, but a complication. Another complication, I might add. Let's see. Do you have an idea of what you might want to do with this complication?
Yeah, yes. But it's gonna. My guess is he's too drunk. Like he could remember the floor, but definitely not where he was.
So, you slide this stack of thrones over, and he looks at it for a second. You all right, Muty? Got proper respect, he says. Then he sort of reaches a ham hock arm over and sweeps the stack of thrones in. I saw them not 2 days ago. Down near the sewer junction, where old what's it? Chosen types like to hang out, make their big sermons to the muties down there about salvation by fire. Heard he was skulking about causing trouble. Ran into them both. If I'd had my shotgun, I might have taken one of their heads off.
I'm sure you would have.
Unless you got other business, Graham.
She would just sort of clench her fists.
Us true Imperials want to drink in peace.
When I learned the path in the negotiator, I learned when to walk away. So, by the way, just as an aside, and she will lean in real close and just put a hand on the table and get about 2 to 4 inches away from his face. Listen to me, Monkai. The next time you insult me to my face, I will make sure there's not a breath left in your body.
Roll me intimidation.
Oh boy. How do I have a 0 in intimidation? That's fine.
It's willpower based. It's only diff 2.
What? I'm gonna spend a wrath to reroll that.
No, you got it. You got it. Okay. You're out of wrath. Unless actually no, you have done your thing, so you do have a third wrath. You have invoked the knowledge of your path, so you do have a third wrath, but you have enough.
I'll hold on to it. Now we're good.
Yeah, he sort of leans back as you get very intense and sort of has at least enough self-preservation instinct to recognize your armor and weapons and shuts his mouth.
She'll just sort of let the electricity crackle on her hands and then stand back up to her full height. A pleasure doing business with you. And she will look to his drinking companions. I think it's best you get this young man home.
There's like the more sober of the group sort of nods, and you can see the atavistic fear of the psyker that has been trained into the majority of the imperial populace over the years at the lightning dancing across your hand. And they're starting to piece together that you're more than just a mutant, even if none of them have the kind of education to recognize what an Eldar is.
Good. So she will just calmly walk back over and sit down and say nothing for a minute, and at least until they leave.
And eventually they haul their drunk ass friend away. And you are left alone with that information.
I don't think Laurel actually has a way to contact any of the rest of the group, does she?
Possibly not.
No.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's correct. You do all have Vox beads at this point.
Okay.
Because
we got them.
Aristarchus was able to procure those for you.
Yeah. We'll totally not abuse this information.
And Vox beads are easy to hide, by the way. They're literally calm beads. They either go in your ear, on your throat, and they're easy enough to work with.
Laurel will switch her frequency to Aristarchus. I have a bit of a small update.
Miss Laurel.
Apologies. I have a bit of a small update about our newest quarry.
Oh, very good.
So, a rather drunk idiot informed me that his last sightings of a chained-up bitch and a sparking man were down near the sewer junction near a rather unfortunate locale. The sermon spots of the Chosen.
Chosen are those muscly lads what take a bit of a zealotry religious bent for their veneration of the Emperor himself, isn't it?
Yes.
Dark and Spiky shot one of those lads last we were down there. All right.
Yes, but Garrison also didn't walk away completely unscathed.
No.
As I will
Barely walked away at all.
as I will always remind him when I'm around. That being said, it's not the best news I could find, but it's something that gives us a direction to go to.
Oh, we've got that. And we've got whatever church they met at from them frequencies that we collected. So there's just a couple of data points that maybe Madame Martinos would be able to prioritize for us.
Excellent. I hope all's going well on your side.
Everything is very normal up here. That's fine. We're doing great. How are you?
Good. Good is how I would say.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, I'm going to continue digging.
Stay safe. Don't get into anything too dicey. Call if you need anything.
Will do.
Roll me an alertness test when you leave the bar, Laurel. Nice. So as you're walking out, you hear a strong voice, feminine but sturdy, and with a brogue that you're not familiar with from this planet. It's definitely not an accent that this planet has in spades. And it comes from a couple blocks down the way, and it has the telltale timbre of someone who is used to authority and likely has at least a good gaze on everything around them. And it's the voice you hear. I feckin' told you the going rate for this amount of scrap is no more than at the very best I can get you is a dozen spanners. You're not gonna get more. And they're gonna be the best quality you can find, but that's about the best that I can do you for this quality of material. And if you want more, I'm gonna need more. If you need the materials to fix the kind of vehicles you're looking for, I'm gonna need more material on my end.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna... Those ears are gonna perk up at that and going to start walking that way. At least to see if she can get a bead on this person.
And it doesn't take long to find the conversation is not quiet. And you find what looks to be an underhive junk dealer, someone who gathers various scrap from fallen pieces in the underhive and tries to resell it, having a conversation with a particularly squat individual who is maybe 4.5 feet at the most, maybe even just 4 feet tall, dressed in at the very least from the back you can see a long for them like tan duster that reaches down to about their feet. You can see a shock of bright orange hair that is pulled back into a ponytail.
We found the
and a pair of goggles resting on their forehead. Just under the collar of the duster, you can see what looks to be highly advanced spacefaring armor. And they are standing next to what appears to be a hover trike. It looks to be a hover vehicle, sort of like the jet bikes that the Eldar use, but it is sort of this like wide planed 3-platformed surface that is decked with crates and piles of cargo and has what appears to be a large heavy bore gun on the front. And it is currently just sort of hovering a few inches off the ground as she is having conversation with this junk dealer.
So just from the bits of conversation I am picking up, and from what I can see of facial expressions, It's gotten heated. Does it look like it might get to blows? Or
So it looks like, so from what you can judge, the human is aggressive in his assertion of what his goods are worth. And every time it looks like there might be a threat of violence, you can see the squat individual just sort of adjusts the duster back, and you can see a highly advanced pattern of bolt pistol on their waist. Like something more artisan-like than you've ever seen in Imperial worlds. It looks like a bolt pistol. You've seen them before. They're big, they're square, they're stocky. But it has this like intricate engraving along the side of it that looks almost like knotted lattice work. And like you can see a bearded face on the side of the magazine catch.
yeah, she's gonna get a little closer.
And eventually, it seems like the junk monger settles on a price for his goods that he is satisfied with, and the squat individual, all right. Space dock's probably not going to be ideal for this kind of movement. Tell you what, meet me outside the Wastelanders Fortress tomorrow. That's the only place you can see the sun, so meet me at sunrise. And I'll have your spanners for you, and I'll have the platforms we can load your scrap on that I might be ready to take off world. I've got plenty more business to do around here, though, so if you need anything else, you can always reach back out to me while I'm here. I won't be leaving the planet myself, but my compatriots will be taking the materials off. And you sort of, they shake hands finally. And having realized you were there, but not wanting to finish up their business yet, the squat individual turns, and you can see this sort of like square jawed, but still markedly feminine face with these sort of bright green eyes, looks up at you from, and as you see the front of it, you can see the duster is open, and yeah, it's an advanced set of highly intricate looking body armor that has a like a flashlight in like around the collar of the chest, and a series of intricate like a similar like those lattice knot works worked into the metal. The main body of it appears to be sort of bright green, where there's sort of a dark brown leather underneath in the interlocking sections between the plates.
So Laurel will give this individual a look up and down, which not that long for her. I couldn't help but overhearing the business transaction.
Oh, and what brings a lone wandering Eldar like you to the underhive of a human planet?
Looking for answers and looking for an individual. Well, a pair of individuals.
Huh. And you come looking for the lone kin that you can find.
As it seems.
Well, I might have some form of information, but you're going to have to give me more to go on than that.
The two individuals I'm looking for are one male, one female. The most prominent feature, the woman is in chains. The male, he was obvious psyker, right? Or
No, the woman is the psyker.
Okay.
The male is just a soldier.
Wearing spiky armor.
A soldier wearing spiky armor. The woman has obvious signs of being the psyker. Both human, as far as I'm aware.
Well, suppose I might have seen at least a little bit of, or might have heard tell of some information regarding activities of folks that might match that description. What's it worth to you?
You don't seem like an individual who deals in coin.
Ah, got that one, did you?
So what is it? She will just sort of pace around this individual. Stories? Returned information? Perhaps trinkets from long memories. What's your flavor of collection?
Well, I'm out here on business, and while I suspect you're probably not going to be able to bring in the kind of raw materials that will be worthwhile for a business deal, I think you might be able to fulfill some of my hobby interests. So, we can trade stories and knowledge and information if you can satisfy my appetite for good tale and good drink and better company. I might be able to share a bit of information with you. But we'll get down to the brass tacks of business in a moment. What's your name?
Loro Elfiere.
Imahuri. Pleasure to meet you.
She'll think for a moment and then reach out a hand to offer to shake.
And she'll reach out and take it. So, a pair of Xenos wandering around the underhive of a human hive world. What brings you here? How'd you come to this place? There's her name in the Roll20 chat.
That is a centuries-long story.
That sounds like a good enough trade.
I'm Aranthe. Craftworld Eldari. And one of the unfortunate, I would say unfortunate, things about our people is that we're shoved onto different paths in our lives. Both my parents had very high hopes for me with my capabilities. I'm roughly 1,100 years old, so
You don't look a day over 120.
She'll give just the slightest bit of a crooked smile. Flattery will get you everything. I'm just saying. But my parents wanted me to only become a warlock. And as a young man, I did not feel that suited me. But I played nice. I followed everything my mother and father wanted for several centuries. Eventually there was a breaking point. And I didn't want it anymore. I didn't want to be a warlock for the craft world. I didn't want to follow in my parents' footsteps. Quite frankly, I just wanted off of the fucking rock. Ship. Sorry.
Can't say I'm quite familiar with that one. But to be fair, your family units are sort of different than ours.
Very. I'm just sort of squint at her. I don't know what you know of Bieltan, but that's
It's
where I came.
one of the craft worlds. I'm not too familiar with their individualities. I know a little bit, but our dealings with the Eldar tend to be superficial.
What exactly are your dealings with the Eldar?
Oh, well, I come from the Kindred of the Doomed, of the Yorani Serta Regulates of the Leagues of Votan. So we do business with them mostly in trading. We tend to trade weapons and armaments in exchange for experience and knowledge regarding nearby warp activities and sightings of demons, because, well, the rest of my kindred has a fondness for killing warp spawn.
I can't say our hobbies are too different then. She'll just sort of gesture to the scars on her cheek and her knocked ear. Well, one day I left. I started having visions, and I knew I wasn't right for the warlock path. I wanted... No, I can say it now. I needed to become a Farseer. I needed to see the visions of the warp. So I left, trying to find whatever sort of training I could, and I came upon a gaggle of broken and, quite frankly, downtrodden individuals known as a coterie, the Broken Wings. Spent a couple centuries with them, sort of hijacking whatever floating spaceships we could, and killing any survivors. Had a bit of a falling out. Came back, killed a couple members, simply out of spite. Had a small tryst with the leader. Fantastic lover, but unfortunately the man didn't have a head on his shoulders.
Mm.
By the time I was done,
Ain't that typical? Nothing on the shoulders but the one between the legs.
Correct.
I think they just admitted to beheading somebody and in a conversation, and it wasn't picked up.
So, my days with the coterie didn't last much longer after that. I don't even know if the Broken Wings are still a coterie. I came to this hive world in search of something. I don't know what, but one of the visions I had was me here. So
Well, it's quite the tale, and I imagine it's not all of it either. But I think you've earned a bit of information. But it is getting late. There's business to be done in the morn, and I think you, like me, aren't too welcome in the random places where the humans can find places to stay. So what say I welcome you to a bit of Votan hospitality for a bit, and you to spend the night with me and my crew, and we'll share some information and some stories, and you can be on your way in the morning.
Deal.
All right, hop on, she says as she walks up and hops onto the hover trike.
Does it look big enough for both of us?
Oh, it's massive.
Okay. Cool.
It probably has room for at least 2 or 3 more people her size.
Cool. So she will climb on.
And so the bike kicks off at a relatively high speed, but with an incredible precision. And as you drive off to meet with whoever the rest of Ema's crew are, meanwhile, we will fade towards the morning as the individual groups are gathering themselves after their evening's rest. You've all regained any wounds or shock and probably restocked on ammo, except for those of you who are away from anything that was anything remotely called home.
I'm not able to. Would I potentially be able to fill out this magazine that I've got from the sisters?
That's a special round.
Damn it. Worth a shot.
But
I would sort of during morning, like during the various morning rituals that I have, would like to try to get, and that the sisters have, would like to try to get a sense of where this particular convent sits as far as concerns regarding psychers. Because I know that majority of the sisters of battle are distrustful at best of psychers, and outright hostile at average. So I'm just trying to gather some more like insight as to this particular group while I'm doing my morning stuff.
Roll me insight.
Say hey.
It's not hard. Sisters aren't really subtle.
2.
So you need. This convent is unique in a lot of ways. Their worship largely seems to be devoted to. There are many states of the emperor in his telling throughout history of his place in the cosmos. There's tales of the emperor at the height of his glory, the emperor during the crusade. There's the emperor in service, who is the emperor who is a skeleton on the golden throne. There is the emperor on Terra, which was his time before the Horus Heresy, when he retreated to Earth to complete some grand plan. There is the emperor ascendant, when he conquered Terra and Mars and brought them into the fold to establish the Imperium of Man for the first time and set out to conquer the galaxy. This convent, more than any, is devoted to the emperor that was known during, as the stories tell of him, the emperor as he was during the final days of the heresy. The emperor who, also known as the emperor in grieving. The emperor who was, as the myths tell, saddened by the betrayal of half of his sons, and for the love that he felt mankind could not bring himself to the final battle until the greatest of his sons, the angel Sanguinius, was struck down, and thus his godlike fury finally kindled, struck down the arch traitor Horus, and eliminated him from reality. The final moments of a grieving father, a grieving god. and sort of focuses on the knowledge of treason. The fact the culture that you pick up is complicated because their stances are built on the idea that for one to be a traitor, one must first have been a brother or a sister.
Okay.
And so it is built on the it is built on that precept of, to deal with heresy, you must first acknowledge that once they were kin. And so it is a very somber group of sisters. And as far as their opinions on psychers, they seem to be of the idea that it is a burden. It is a burden that psychers bear, and not all are ready to carry it. But those that carry it in the Emperor's name are to be praised for the weight they carry on their shoulders, but must be ever vigilant, because even the strongest, such as the Emperor, will falter at times. And so there must be ever watchful for the dangers that a psyker who stumbles under the weight of their burden bears.
So, with that information, I would seek out, if there was one, a canoness, but if not, whoever would be the...
It
whoever
would be the Sister Superior of
yeah,
this
the Sister
convent.
Superior of this convent. And request an audience, basically. I had come to the convent very openly as a member of the Inquisition, so...
Yes. So you are welcomed by the Sister Superior, who is known as Sister Superior Andraste. And she is dressed in the armor of the Sisters of the Blazing Howl is gold, or rather brass. It's sort of an off gold, and their vestments are crimson. Sort of they seem to derive a lot of their colorization from Sanguinius.
Okay.
And the story of Sanguinius,
which tends to also fall in line with the Malleus colors as well.
Yeah.
So.
And so there's a lot of blood red and like off gold. And so you as you enter, she is poring over some holy scripture as you arrive. Ah, sister, 'tis good to greet a member of the Inquisition's agents. How can I assist?
Sister Superior Andraste, I would like to request assistance for the mission that I'm on here. She'll approach and remove her hat and set it down. I'm currently hunting prey that is of interest to the Order Malleus. And in that process, I have discovered that this traitor that I hunt has taken into captivity a sister of mine. And she will say, I might not have done the inflection correctly, but will do the inflection that military psychers do to refer to other psychers, which is a thing in the setting.
Yes. There is a way that a psyker talks when they are referring to another psyker. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, her eyebrow arches for a moment, but she nods. And you wish this sister of yours freed from her imprisonment.
I seek to save her from a path that will spell her doom. There is only one destination for those who are taken by the servants of chaos in the manner that she has been, and used in the way that she has been. And I would not wish that on my direst of enemies.
It is a heavy burden that you seek to take up, the shouldering of another.
In resting here...
And
go ahead.
She does pose dangers to all.
Yes. In resting here, I have felt my mind at ease. The holy sacrament of the sisters here keeps the warp at bay. I would request that if I am able to take her into custody, that I might bring her here to try to set her on the right path, if possible.
This is a burden that you would ask my sisters to take up. It is one that I am willing to accept on the condition that my sisters and I will be the judge of her character. If we deem that she is unfit and unable to be saved, she will be dealt with.
It would be a kindness.
We would give her the Emperor's mercy, as she would deserve, as one who has tried but fallen from his light.
I do not know if I'll be able to take her into custody, and if I am, when it will be, but if I have the blessing of the sisters, I will endeavor to bring her here as soon as I can.
You have the blessing of the Blazing Howl to bring your prisoner here. We will be ready at all times.
You got my thanks.
Go in the Emperor's light.
Just nod. Take the hat up and the eye patch, don them both, give her a short bow, and head out to our meetings, whatever prearranged meeting spot we had determined previously.
Meanwhile, is there anything anyone else needs to accomplish in the morning before you all meet back up?
Aristarchus is good.
Aristarchus needs to polish that shotgun one more time.
Make
Nope.
sure Tina doesn't wreck anything in the house leaving.
I'm being very careful.
Tina
I
has
just-
to getting Tina out of your house is like trying to get a couch out of someone's front door. It's like
And it's angled.
pivot, turn, one step, pivot.
Okay.
I don't know if it occurs to Remy that Aristarchus might be able to make a remote control that can just puppet the armor around.
Oh no. No.
I mean, based off everything that you've seen about Remy, do you think that would be something he would ask for?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
But whether it's occurred to him or not.
fair. But yeah, no.
All right. So the majority of you meet back up. I don't know if you established a meeting point.
I feel like we had,
We had, because you yeah,
because we were all
Was
going
it at
different
the church that you were investigating?
I think so.
I think
Possibly,
so.
Yeah.
I think it was the coordinates of the church, but like off center. There
Yeah.
was
Yes.
very clearly stated,
Mhm.
we're not meeting at the church, we're meeting near the church. This
Correct,
spot,
right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
3 blocks away or whatever.
Mhm.
Just one of us sitting at the church, like looking at a watch. It's been 2 hours. Where the fuck are they?
Waiting for you way over here. How big is this reliquary? Like, can Aristarchus conceal it about his person, or is it something he kind of has to just carry?
It's the size of a guitar case.
Okay. So Aristarchus shows up with a fancy box over his shoulders. He's rigged up some sort of strap to where he's sort of wearing it crosswise.
Is it the sort of thing that one might recognize as a reliquary?
I mean, it's very obviously a reliquary. Yes, it is. It is covered in holy seals of both the Ecclesiarchy and the Mechanicus.
Is it something you might recognize as a reliquary of the Sisters of Battle?
Not necessarily of the Sisters of Battle. It is definitely a holy reliquary.
Okay.
It doesn't have any one particular order. Like the order Pronatus, the order of sisters that like oversees the guarding of relics, does that across the Imperium, and so their
Gotcha.
design of reliquaries is sort of just standard.
Gotcha. So upon arriving,
Just,
oh, good.
I was just to say, just one look at it, like, yep, all right, fine, whatever.
Aristarchus, you seem to have stumbled upon a holy relic.
Your skills of observation are keen as always, madam.
What'd you find?
Oh, well, you see, there's an order within the Adeptus Sororitas whose job it is to manufacture, monitor the locations and preservation of certain objects of historical, military, and religious significance within the Imperium. He goes on a very long tangent and eventually says, "It's a gun!"
Point of order, did I meet back up with them?
It's about now that a hover trike painted sort of this like deep ranger green sort of begins to putter its way up to the area with a squat individual in a duster with goggles pulled down at the helm and Laurel sort of standing on the back. Laurel, you spent the night among about a half dozen more of these individuals, of the members of the Kindred of the Doomed, all of whom are the majority of them are relatively dour. It seemed like very very like tight-lipped, very like not like rude or aggressive, but just very few words, with the single exception of Ema, who seems to do most of the talking for them. You learn that they are a squad of Hernkin, who are the pioneering individuals among the Kindred, which you are learning is the name of their species as far as anyone is concerned. They're called the Kin. They are the pioneers and merchants of their people who go out, wander the stars, find materials, bring them back to their league. And their kindred, which kindred being, as far as you can gather, a general term that can mean anything from a few dozen people to an entire like mass organization. It's hard to tell. They use very like nuanced words. They use words that have a lot of specific meaning based on the context. But from what you can gather, they're sort of the merchant class of their people, and they're out here gathering materials.
I've gotten bored approximately 2 minutes into Aristarchus's historical recounting of whatever this fancy box is, and I'm going to point out Laurel as you're coming up.
As this hovering trike makes its way over.
Ooh, cool bike.
I see you found some companions, Laurel.
She's just offered a bit of companionship for the evening last night, and I figured I'd repay the favor by offering transport to where she needed to go.
At least you didn't have to deal with a walk of shame.
There's just a raised eyebrow from the
completely flat face from
individual.
Zaris.
That was a very particular phrasing that you use.
This completely flat face from Saris.
Laurel will also just sort of raise an eyebrow and then look at Ema. Is this a... And she will look back at her companions. Human saying.
From my understanding, they tend to read a lot more into situations than actually are there.
Good. She will step down from the bike. Well, you have my frequency.
Of course.
Hopefully we will cross paths again.
It's wonderful swapping tales. If you have any need of us, you know where to find us. Well, you might. We wander.
Aristarchus has just been ogling this vehicle the entire time that it's here. Like, in the 45 seconds of conversation, he's already over, got both hands and a mechadendrite on it, and is he's going nuts.
The instant one of your mechadendrites begins to graze over the surface of this vehicle, there's a and a bolt pistol, very ornate, very, very specialized, is pointed in your direction. Please don't.
Apologies. No. Snake the mechadendrite back in under his robes.
You will have to give pardon to Aristarchus.
The fancy tech boys think all technology in the galaxy is theirs.
This is a lovely piece of work.
He's just very enthusiastic.
Aye. That's my bike, and I thank you very much not to try and take it apart.
Was it? Oh, I didn't realize that was an option on the table.
It's not.
We seem to be operating from the same guidebook.
It very specifically just said it's not.
Tina,
Yeah.
you're having flashbacks to Wurzod's rambling.
Okay.
They said
Yep.
something about a squad individual.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me find my notes on that because I did not have my notes with me. Are you from the center of the big spiral?
This individual sort of looks up at Tina. Like, there's been a wary look at Tina the entire time, but Tina hasn't looked to be aggressive yet, and so they're just sort of, you could say that.
Okay. I don't remember what that was connected to at all. My notes are just stream of consciousness. It's very.
To be fair, that's accurate to Wurzod's
That is very accurate.
vision.
Do you know anything like spiky guys in reverse? Sort of thing happening like that?
Actually, I was just telling your friend what I knew about the locations of a couple of folk that you've been hunting down. I can tell you the same story I told them.
Please.
Well, near as I can tell, and greetings to all of you. My name is Ema Huri, of the Kindred of the Doomed.
Tina.
I'll just gesture with the Road Trader banner. Saris.
Another trader. Pleasure to meet you.
Aristarchus Doctor, pleased to make your acquaintance.
Blair Hart.
Hi.
Amazing.
He's my friend.
You seem like a unique lot. Not the kind of thing you typically see on an Imperial High World. What?
Strange times.
As I was saying, while I've been on this planet trading for raw materials, the plasteel of these fallen apart hive cities is highly useful. Ceramite to be found in abundance. Useful materials that can be traded back, made use of by my kindred, who are more than willing to provide some equipment and tools in exchange for raw material. There's been constant rumbling going around of folk what stand out from the rest of their company on virtue of spikes, making their presence known in certain regions of the Underhive, and some of the folk I've been trading with have asked for specialty arms and ammunitions to help protect them from things that might get a little bit more dangerous.
Oh.
Caught the eye of myself and my crew because, well, my folk tend to have a bit of a penchant for taking out things that are of the spiky variety, if you get my drift. And did a little bit of digging and a little bit of investigating, and shot down a couple of these random cultists wandering around. Found out they've been gathering stockpiles of materials and weapons from all over the Hive City, and found out where that was. Apparently deep in the territory of some other gang that they're encroaching on. Not that anyone knows about it, because apparently they keep this other gang keeps their grudges well hidden. But figured while we're on the planet, might want to liberate some of those supplies from them. Figure we could use them better than they can.
A grudge?
You lot, I guess.
Tina,
You
a
lot-
grudge is when you get angry at somebody and you stay angry at them for a very long time, and then sometimes you do something to pay them back because you're angry at them. Hmm?
I know that. But just thinking.
You mentioned that you provide specialty weapons to deal with enemies of a spikier variety.
Aye, we've got a few tools that are quite good for handing out death to followers of dark powers, and especially good at punching through the guises of those who shouldn't exist, should I say.
Well, it just so happens that we are sort of angled towards those types of enemies ourselves. Perhaps some arrangement could be done for trade for skilled labor or tasks performed.
I suppose there's an amount of trading that could be done regarding that. Tell you what, you got ties to one of them rogue trader families, the big folk that do all the trading for the Imperium.
Absolutely.
I think there's some work to be done there. We'll have to talk more about it, if you don't mind my sticking around for a bit.
Certainly.
You lot seem a bit less suspicious of someone of my size than you typically find. You normally have to do some negotiating and show them the quality of the goods before they're willing to talk.
Well, in the line of work that I find myself in, one tends to have to interact with all manner of different beings, so...
Or we're just better at hiding it till we get what we need. One of the
Fair
two.
enough. I mean, could always be both.
Could be both of the two. You're not wrong.
I zoned out slightly in the middle of the explanation that happened there. Was there a location attached to any of that information?
From what she was saying, there's they know where they keep most of their stockpile, and it's somewhere in the territory of another gang, specifically one that keeps their grudges hidden, as she said. Which to you,
Which we had theorized
is,
that already.
Yeah, which you had theorized. But it seems to confirm that not only are they operating in Mortis Veritas territory, it also confirms that as far as Ema knows, they're not friendly with Mortis Veritas.
Yeah. So, they're keeping the supplies in Mortis Veritas territory. Potential ally there, unless something else is there. Looking at Remy and Blair, is there any reason why Mortis Veritas would see us as an enemy, other than standard?
I mean,
Is there any reason?
I mean, there is always the fact that Mortis Veritas are basically
very
ghosts.
yeah,
They
they're
don't
very
really
secretive.
like they don't really show themselves around. They're very like black operations, keep things hidden, don't make noise. Everything you do is quiet, nobody goes in or out of their territory. It's hard to say. It's hard to read how Mortis Veritas would react to anyone interacting with them, let alone someone trying to make friends with them.
So the problem with them is they have become successful in part because you can't find them. So when somebody's looking to find them, even if they're finding them because we want to be friends and we want to do business with you, actually, probably, especially if you're saying that, they're going to be suspicious and it will actually probably make it harder.
Is there a possibility that we could get them to accidentally find us rather than the other way around?
I mean, it's not impossible. We just need to set it up right. But they're also still going to be exceptionally careful. I'm not saying that we shouldn't seek them out. I'm just saying you're asking if they would have reasons to look us as an enemy, and yes, because we're not them.
Yes, more. I was wondering if there was anything more specific than that, but
Doubly so compared to like the Wastelanders or the Chosen or whatever.
My thinking then is that either our options, if we want to deal with their supply lines, which we do want to deal with because that's how they keep assaulting locations, either we'd have to sneak into the territory ourselves, which I don't think we're capable of doing. I say gesturing towards Tina. Or we form an alliance with the people whose territory they are invading. Or we just go in guns blazing, which seems like a bad idea.
Very bad idea. Don't do that one.
Aw.
Tina, if you die, you can't fight anymore.
I know.
But if you die, that means you fought the best fight.
Not helping, Saris.
That wasn't Saris. That was John.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Would I potentially have a line of contact to anyone?
That's going to be a tough one. Roll me
like, I don't know if the scrounging thing will help.
Yeah, roll me a cunning test, and you can use your scrounger ability to add the double rank dice to it.
Okay.
4 extra bonus
Which
dice.
is
an
Currently
extra
rank 2,
4
so
dice
add
for
4,
you?
Add 4 dice, yeah.
Damn.
just straight cunning?
Yeah.
Because cunning is a skill, not a...
Not a-
Well, I...
Well, damn.
that?
All right.
Wow.
Oh,
Holy
Yeah, cunning is
shit.
one of my better fucking
The folks
abilities. This
aren't
is
watching.
what Remy
11.
does. Remy makes connections to people to do shady shit.
11 successes,
Beautiful.
5 of which were exalted icons.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, just fucking impressive.
Oh yeah, no, Nux is my best friend, you know.
So your DN was 5, which
Okay.
is normally difficult.
Which means you can shift 3.
You
right?
have 3 shifts you can take.
Beautiful.
Look, I know I know his phone number. I know his ex-girlfriend. I know his.
I mean, I realize that this is
I am his
actually a
ex-girlfriend.
huge fucking ass. But is there a chance that I have some sort of at least tenuous like point of contact with Nox where I could just contact them directly?
You
I would
dated him
say if
back
you
in
want to
high
spend,
That
I would
school.
say
fucking many.
I would say if you want to spend 2 of those shifts for improving quality, then you
Okay.
can have a potential line, if not directly to Nox, at least to somebody who has a direct line to Nox.
Okay. I will. Yes,
Again.
absolutely.
Again, I really feel like the line should be, yeah, no, I've got his cell phone number. He left it under my pillow one night.
And then you got 1 shift left.
Yeah, I still don't remember what all the things you can do with this.
You can gain information,
I'm
in which case
looking,
you can,
yeah.
you can ask me a question related to it. You can further improve the quality. You can, you can't really improve speed because this is recalling information.
Right.
Or you can shift it for a glory.
You know what? I will just shift it for a glory in this case. I feel like I got everything I needed to out of my 11 fucking successes.
All right, we got a glory in the pool.
1 glory.
Hell yeah.
All right. One day I'll be a player in this game and I'll get to spend all that glory on murdering people.
But you will be rolling, so it means you'll have so much glory that it will be meaningless functionally.
Yeah. But then everyone gets that glory.
Well, no, unless I'm running the game, in which case then they will be failing every roll, no matter how many dice they
that's
roll.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, so not directly to Nox themselves,
Okay.
but you do have a, like, not a direct cell phone number, but you have a dead drop that you know, and this was a favor that you earned a long time ago, so you're going to be calling something in and sort of praying that it works.
Mm-hmm.
You have a dead drop with Nox's chief lieutenant.
Okay.
Who is an individual who just goes by the name Verity.
Verity.
Hey.
Um,
I know it's not the same Verity, but no.
This individual is, as far as your connection goes, is their chief lieutenant and #1 informant. They're the person who knows everything. They are the feed of information that gives Nox their seeming omniscience.
All right. This is... Just give me a reminder right now, sirs. How important is this?
Well, this is the only way that we're going to get to cutting off the supply lines for a terrorist and traitor who is seeking to turn the Hive City into a
All right,
demonically
fine.
infested hellhole.
Fine.
Is there a problem?
No, I can get a word to somebody in the group or in the gang. Not right, like it's not going to be an immediate connection, but
We
I
have,
can get word to someone.
we have other leads to follow as well, so while we wait.
All right, what do we want to pass on then?
We are aware that there is currently a thorn in their side, operating in their territory, and offer our assistance in ridding them of it. That's the best as I can think of, unless you can think of something better.
I don't know that they're going to take that bait because that... Not take the bait, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
They take us up on that because... I think I can make this work.
My assumption would be that they would rather other people risk their lives than their own people based on the
Absolutely. That's
Yes.
kind of how I'm going to phrase it is like, hey, we know you have this problem. How about you give us everything that you have on them and let us deal with it? Then you don't have to come out into the light, so to speak.
Yeah, we'll punch them for you, so you don't have to punch them.
All right.
Aristarchus honestly looks at Tina with, if he didn't have lenses over both of his ocular sockets, very wide eyes. Tina has suddenly realized some people might not want to be punching things all the time, which is very like.
I don't understand why, but
it happens.
But you've
like,
wrapped around. But you wrapped your head around like the fact that that might actually be true.
Yeah.
For whatever level of absurdity it is.
well.
And he kind of just reaches up and pats you on your very power armor encrusted bicep.
Is this something you can do on the way to wherever location of churches, or oh wait, no, churches
I will
nearby,
probably meet up with you because I'm assuming it's not conveniently on the
No,
way.
you have a dead drop that's a ways away.
Yeah.
And we're right next to the church that we were investigating.
I will have to
Need a ride.
Give me an hour. I'll be back. Huh?
Need a ride, the dwarf says.
No, I should just go handle this by myself.
Fair
If
enough.
there's a bunch of people with me, then odds of it being successful probably go down.
Fair enough.
All right, then we'll continue on to our scouting here, while you go handle that.
Yeah, all right.
Be safe. Keep in touch.
I'll do what I can. If you don't hear from me, then assume that you heard from me and I was screaming.
Are you sure you don't want
I'll be
at least
fine.
one person to come with you?
I'll be
Not
fine.
alone, huh?
Are you sure?
Blair, I have maneuvered my way through this space for quite a long time, just like you. I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I will head off.
Okay. The rest of you make your way towards the church. And it is
something get me to the church on time.
It's big. It's a big church. Like it by like imperial standards, it's probably small to middling sized, but like by our standards, we're looking at like St. Paul's Cathedral.
Gotcha.
And as you pull up, Aristarchus, as you're wrapped with this Xenos's, or maybe abhuman, it's hard to tell, they look very human. As you're sort of wrapped with their technology, there's a moment that causes you, even in your relative abandonment of the flesh, to take an intake, a sharp inhale, with the atavistic loathing that rises up as they hit a button and a machine, seemingly acting on its own, begins to rise off of the back of this bike and seems to communicate with the kin for a moment. And you have to restrain yourself for a second as you realize, no, you're not looking at an abominable intelligence. It's highly advanced machinery and robotics, but it is not an AI. As you realize that it is not actually communicating, it is simply accepting orders. But the line there scares you for a second as you realize this technology is more advanced than you thought.
He makes a little gesture in front of himself.
Do
For
you
the
have
rest-
a lot?
Sorry, go on.
Do you have a lot more tin back with your people?
Oh, aye, we've got plenty of solid machinery, weapons, equipment, all sorts of things. She says as she sort of adjusts a couple of things. And for the rest of you, what you're looking at is it's almost like a floating like torso, head and shoulders. Like it's got like the vague outline of the torso that looks very similar to the design on this individual's armor. And then the shoulders just sort of end in these two small repulsor knobs that just sort of seem to be carrying it in the air. And it has like a pair of very spindly mechanical arms that reach out off of its torso to grab things. And it has this sort of sleek golden dome for a head. It's completely featureless. No eyes, no face, no nothing.
Oh, is it like Death Trap from Borderlands?
Kind of. Well, I can show you.
Gage's floaty robot that's mostly just like a tortilla chip.
Kind of. Only it's more of like a dome. It's
Okay.
I can actually get you a picture. Here we are. That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. In the Slack channel. Those little floaty guys.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
This one has like a pair of spindly arms that appear to be holding like an auspex tool of some kind, and then like a free hand.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate how they're
Yeah.
all conveniently hovering above piles of junk.
Yeah, that's how they get the floating effect.
That's
They're
how
just-
they hover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
they've done a really good job of not having to use too many of the just like basic clear bases.
Yeah.
They mostly just have like floating connection points.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's brilliant. I like it. It's just, it does draw attention, but it's great.
Fun.
And yeah, this one seems to like the lower end of its torso seems to end in like a cable winch that it can like hook things onto.
The one on the left.
Yeah, basically. Only instead of a gun and a hammer, it's got like a tool and a free hand.
So after his initial sort of like heresy, terror, revulsion moment, Aristarchus wants to kind of look at this thing and try and sort of place it. Does it seem to be functioning kind of similar to his servo skulls for them?
Sort of, yeah. It seems to be a highly advanced servitor, the kind of thing that you would see on the scale of a servo skull.
Okay.
Its machine spirit seems to be capable of accepting rudimentary commands very easily, and seems to be able to perform various tasks.
Okay. So yeah.
So yeah, there is that.
Aristarchus
immediate-
kind of crawled into himself for a minute as this thing comes out, and then has visibly, not entirely, but visibly relaxed after a moment.
Yeah, there is that momentary like, oh no, it's the worst thing imaginable.
Right.
And then, oh no, it's not quite that. No,
These
it's
guys
actually a
have
very
Cthulhu,
interesting thing.
And he's on a leash, and they're feeding him biscuits.
But then it sort of hovers up and starts to like circle around the outside of the building, and she looks over at the rest of you. I figured it'd probably be worthwhile to get an aerial view, so I'm just gonna have it take a look around and report back.
Appreciate it. Does this building seem occupied?
It appears to be completely abandoned as far as you can tell.
Okay. So I'm just going to head up to a door.
You walk out to one of these massive doors and push on it. It's heavy. You might be able to open it if you lean your entire weight into it.
Could I subtly use my brain to open it while I push?
Do you have what's your telekinetic powers?
I have. Hang on.
You also have Tina right there.
Look, I need to be impressive.
Tina is probably being
okay?
distracted by Aristarchus, who's going, now, if you notice,
I have a
is
sail
rib
and crush.
You got a rib vault, and these bits are called flying buttresses, you see. And when the architecture comes in, that you've got these pointed arches, as he goes into a dissertation on Gothic architecture for Tina.
No, I'm not listening.
A sail is not the kind of controlled thing that you're looking for. It would not be subtle. If you decided to try and sail the door open, it would be very much putting your hand on the door, and then the door goes wham all on its own.
Okay.
That just sounds like butt, and that's pretty much the extent of my interest.
I was hoping I like grab the edge of it and just shove, and then make it wham open that way. Okay, no, I will.
A sail is not a subtle power.
I will begin to push open the door, and then realize it's very heavy, and then look back over my shoulders. Tina, could you assist?
Yeah, with what?
This door.
Uh-huh. She's standing there.
The door
really wanted
insulted
Tina
you.
to be like, what did it do? Right?
I am helping.
No, it didn't. Doors don't talk.
You haven't asked for anything. You've just indicated the door.
Yeah.
Please tell me there's like a servitor in this door, so I can like prove doors do talk sometimes.
Doors do talk sometimes. This one does not have a servitor.
Okay, could you help open it, Tina?
Yeah.
Will you help open it?
If you ask nicely.
Please.
She goes and opens the door.
Roll me a strength test. I just want to see.
Yeah.
Or athletics.
I have 9 dice in that. And I got 7.
Well, you can shift that one if you want for anything.
I want to do it just sort of gently. Sort of not gonna slam it open. I'm just gonna gently open it.
So Tina sort of walks over
I want to do it with
and
flair.
And Tina's normally like a foot or two taller than you, not significantly taller especially for an orc. In the mega armor, they've added another like 6 inches to a foot of height, and so they then further tower over you. As they sort of walk over, and there's the whining of pistons and the release of steam catches as the armored arm sort of lifts up, and then very slowly just with one hand the door just slides open.
Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
Aristarchus darts inside and starts looking for any sort of tech hookups where he can start to get a read on what this place is and any information we can find.
As you step inside, you are greeted by what looks to be a thoroughly abandoned interior of the structure of this place. And as you walk inside, there is one very obvious thing that is wrong in this place. At the far end of the main room of this cathedral, there is normally a statue of usually a saint, the emperor, a primarch, something to direct the place of reverence. In this place, it was a statue of the God Emperor in his glory and his height at his in his glorious armor, with the halo behind him. That statue has been demolished from the waist up, and in its place has been erected a crude metal ring in the face of an 8-pointed star. And there is where we're going to take a break.
All right, if you're watching live, please continue with these commercial messages. And remember, when we take our break, you take your break. So stand up, stretch your legs, move around, do whatever you need to do. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're back. A dinosaur story.
Welcome back. So, Remy,
Yeah.
Good, I can make my sandwiches.
you had all things considered, not an incredibly far distance away, but still a good distance away from where you were,
Mm-hmm.
to find this dead drop that you had a long time ago, in the hopes that it's still there.
Right.
And you find an old, abandoned hab block. Walk inside. 2 doors down to the right, first hall. Last room that has the door kicked in. Walk in, find what would have been the refrigeration unit, open it, and in the back where there's normally the power supply, pull that cover open, and there's a nice interior stash where you can drop something.
Okay. So I am just scrolling out.
You're green and shape-shifting into everybody? Yes!
Just scrolling out.
It's scroll
Scroll-tastic,
with an
dude.
A and a U, not or an A and a W, not a U.
Scrollabunga, dude.
I am writing out, scribbling out just a quick
ASL, you up?
motherfucker.
Girl, what you wearing?
Understand you're having a territorial issue. Have people that may be able to help with that. If we can get some information. And I think that's where I'm leaving it.
All right. Now roll me an awareness test.
Okay.
He's right behind him. He's right behind me, isn't he?
He's right behind me, isn't he? 3.
That would be delightful.
Excellent. And you get a glory because you rolled a 6 on your wrath die.
Jeremy has now given us the only 2 glory we have. That bodes well.
I'm not used to being useful with dice. This is strange to me.
I'm sure it will end soon.
So you're not
And
taking
poorly.
The awareness that you have grants you there's a moment when the hairs on the back of your neck raise. And you have a moment to recognize that something is about to happen when you hear the voice. Sourceless. Completely everywhere and nowhere.
Instinctually.
Echoing and whispering at the same time. Oh, dear Remy. You led them straight into a trap. If you wanted them dead, all you needed to do was say so, little lost lamb. And the worst part, even if they survive the lovely trap we've laid, they will suspect you, won't they? After all, you did disappear right before you handed them into a demon's embrace.
Take another quick look around, make sure there's nobody that I can see.
Nope.
going to be clear. Is this? I'm
That's a
assuming not, but
voice.
is this voice familiar?
Vaguely, like
Okay.
maybe you've heard it in some of your more particularly addled dreams that you might have had in
Right.
your past.
Okay.
It's not human.
Right.
It is something wrong.
I'm going to. I know this is not what it's called, but it's the only thing that it's what constantly comes to mind. I'm going to activate my link pearl.
Yeah. And all that comes through your Vox speed is static.
Fuck. All right. I slam the thing shut. And yeah, he takes off right till keeping the line open until you can actually hear something.
And you're just running back towards the church?
In that general direction, yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the rest of you.
Do I need to make a scholar roll to identify what sort of heresy
You
I'm
don't
staring down the
have
barrel?
to roll to
Okay.
identify the 8-pointed star of chaos. At least you don't, anyway.
Oh dear.
Do I see the...
As the group of you enter the church, Ema is like right behind you, about to walk in when the door slams on its own. All light dies.
Sword out, gun out.
Gun out.
Oh,
There is an echoing cackling that begins to ring throughout the interior.
can I turn on my flamethrower so like we just get like
The flickering
fire.
of the fire is like a match in absolute darkness. There is a fleeting, primalistic comfort from it, but it extends no further than a few inches from you.
I would like to use a free instant action to do a Sinuscience real quick.
Sure.
Mechanically, I have to do this.
Sure, why not? I will do the same thing.
Seven.
You sense the presence of the warp, both of you.
Yeah, is this darkness a active psychic power?
It's more like a devouring of light. It's not really like a power so
Is
much.
this something that I could deny the witch?
You could try.
So yeah, I'm going to try to deny the witch, and let's see what happens. I'm going to spend a glory for bonus.
I believe in you.
Don't.
I don't.
So Dean is 2 plus the something about the target ability. 2 plus the DN of the target ability. So whatever the ability might be, whether if it has a DN to devour the light, 2 plus that.
Yep.
So that's 4. I'm going to spend a wrath just to re-roll those other 2, just in case. No, 4 and a complication, which is a complication on the psionic mastery roll.
It is.
Oh
That
boy.
means it's time to peril the warp.
Yay!
Oh boy.
I believe that means I roll a
Time to
d66.
what?
I'm very
Here.
excited.
Perils of the
I'm
war.
very excited I am not present.
All right.
It's time for Mara's
it is
friend
time
to turn
roll. It is time to roll on perils of the warp.
Listen, I think it's appropriate that this being Warhammer 40k and everything being backwards, that I'm the person who doesn't die in
Right.
the TPK.
Mm.
That'll
me a
be interesting for a
D66.
change. Which is on the combat. There's like a button for that, right?
Yes. It's a button that looks like two D6s next to each other.
Ooh, I
51.
don't know what this means.
Rita sees the church explode from a distance, like, yep, off planet.
Now, the fun thing is, if in whatever universe 4 is enough, I would still cancel whatever the power was.
So, the darkness seems to flicker for a second. And in the briefest moment, you see a figure, tall and lithe, with a face that is both beautiful and horrific. Perfectly sculpted, smooth, with sharp, dagger-like teeth, skin that is a mottled, pinkish gray, hands that end in almost crab-like claws, massive pincers that seem to curl in on themselves, hair that ends in tendrils that seem to flow and move on their own, long, digitigrade legs that bend backwards at the knee, dressed only in what appears to be a honestly a horrific horror reimagining of like Leia's chainmail bikini from Star Wars. This figure seems both masculine and feminine all at once, strangely alluring and terrifying. It seems to possess a body that is almost like divided in halves between male and female. The left side there is a single breast, the left side a bare pectoral, or the right side a bare pectoral, and it moves with an unnatural grace, and you see that for just a second before the darkness consumes again. And in the aftermath of that, your peril is life drain. A numbing cold washes out from you, leeching the very life essence of those nearby. Every living creature within 25 meters, which is all of you,
That include the
immediately
demon?
suffers 1d3 shock, and all lesser life forms, plants, avians, insects, etc., wither and die.
Oh no.
Does that include the demon?
No.
Damn. It is a life form.
So we take 1d3 shock, you said?
Yes.
Does that
Go ahead and roll
include
me a
me or
D3.
no?
Yes, it does include you.
Okay.
So you all take 2 shock.
2.
As the heat
we
in
all
the
take 2
area
shock. Okay, got it.
as the heat in the area almost seems to leach out, and you feel an unnatural cold, as if your very life essence is seeping out of you.
I have a quick question.
Except for, of course, Remy.
How many shock are we taking right now?
2.
2. Well, that's not good. Okay.
Yes, Mara.
How many shock can Minion take?
Minion is a Gretchen, so
Yeah, I don't know stats. I have a sheet for them, but I never put stats in there. I don't know where to find them.
hang on. He has the profile of a grot.
Oh, okay.
He has 3 shock, so he drops
Oh,
to 1
good.
shock.
Okay. We're buddies. Okay. We're fine. This is
We're
fine.
buddies.
Johnny,
Yes.
that description of scary bitch in the corner over there, is that exactly what Laurel thinks it is?
yeah.
You recognize the Daemonette of Slanesh, yes.
Do I recognize it?
Almost certainly, but roll me Scholar just in case you somehow crit fail.
Ooh, me too.
You have a higher DC, but yes, you can roll Scholar.
I don't know this.
5.
Also 5.
Yeah, both of you recognize the Daemonet of Slanesh, one of the agents of the ruinous powers.
So, I feel like in the attempt to deny a witch, what happened there was there was that light receding was actually caused by a flash of like intense blue flame that just sort of erupts from both of Sarah's eyes as the eye patch just flies off. So the light flickers and then comes back, and then in the dark, as the darkness returns, just stamps the force staff down, and in the name of the Ordo Malleus, show no mercy to our foe. Just sort of going very full order, like commander mode. Because there's a demon in front of us and it needs to die.
So, we will begin a combat in the theater of the mind. And the demon didn't take shock damage because demons don't take shock.
Man, fuck
So it
demons.
took 2 wounds, is what you're saying.
No, they ignore shock.
Definitely not
Damn it.
fuck demons.
Oh, is that a rule?
Yes, don't fuck demons.
Especially not these demons.
At least in Warhammer. In D&D, go for it.
I was going to say, I respectfully disagree for just about every system.
Yeah, D&D, go through the throat. Just go for it.
So,
Look, you start at centaurs and you work your way up, right, Julia?
Got the sonic rings knocked out.
so it begins. In the beginning of the battle, the Demonet's battle cry feature, Disquieting Creature and Quicksilver Swiftness, begins.
Uh-oh.
Anyone that can see or hear the Demonet must pass a DN3 fear test.
I have
What's
I
that?
will-
So, this is the time to actually discuss fear. So, I believe it's in the conditions. Yeah. So fear.
So after the terms.
You're going to roll a resolve test. Each of you.
E-
The DN is 3.
So,
I'm
this won't
not
go
good at
poorly
that.
at all.
Hang on. I believe I have bonuses to this. Hang on.
Shawnee, for your notes, I have a +1 for this.
You have a plus what?
I have a +1 DN for this.
Oh yes, because
Oh.
it's Slanesh specifically. Yes.
Wait, is this a psychic power?
Not exactly. What's
Okay.
the full text of that?
The purity of faith, you and any allies within 15 meters gain plus double rank bonus die to corruption test, which that's not this. You gain plus double rank bonus dice to any test to resist the effects of a psychic power.
Yeah, that's not quite it.
Okay. Figured I'd ask. Where's resolve?
Because I'm a member of the Ordo Malleus. I get +1 conviction, which
No, I just have a +1 to all.
Does conviction affect fear checks? I forget.
Conviction is how you resist corruption, not fear.
Okay.
Oh, there's resolve. I have 1 die in this. It's gonna go great.
It's gone great so far.
Yep.
Wow.
I'd like to spend a wrath. Let's do that. Let's spend them very quickly.
So I will say
five-
now, you need 3 successes on 1 die. You can't get
Oh,
there.
okay, never
Between
mind.
5 people,
I'm gonna
there were a
leave that.
total of 2 successes.
It's because we don't have a lot of resolve at tier 1.
No.
Um,
I get it.
It's equal
So-
to your
so-
willpower -1, so none of you have that much willpower right now.
Yeah.
My willpower
So what's
is
next?
3. I will spend my second wrath to try to re-roll that. I have a chance. I didn't get it.
No, you did not.
In fact, I rolled the same thing.
So,
Listen, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go.
I'm right now. I'm just deciding if I'm bringing in a weird boy or if I'm bringing in an Eldari, basically.
so there's two parts to this. So first off, you are all afraid. There is an atavistic primal sense of terror in your mind. Even you, the logical Aristarchus, feel yourself shaking. If you
Sometimes
fail a
things
fear
are
test,
so wrong, they're scary.
yeah. If you fail a fear test, you suffer +2 difficulty to all tests. This penalty lasts until the end of the scene or until an ally passes a leadership test of DN2 plus the source of the fear value, so DN5, to try and shake someone out of it. A being that causes fear is immune to fear and the intimidation interaction attack.
Cool.
Is it
Then-
is it leadership test per person or just for the group?
I believe an individual has to use a leadership test to try and shake one target out. You have to direct your leadership.
So like you have to do a leadership test for yourself, and then for Aristarchus, and then for Blair, and then for Laurel. Like they have to go down the line.
You probably want to prioritize, yes.
Wow.
And also, more than one person can do leadership tests.
Yeah.
Although, let me double check and see if there is an area on that. 1 second, because there may be. Skills.
I would feel like rallying the troops is a thing you can do to everyone, but I've been wrong about these things before.
199. People who have put talents into it can rally more than one person at a time.
Talents or skill rating?
Talents, like people who have bought talents to be better at leadership, will be able to do that to more people.
Okay. So none of us. We all do leadership tests on ourselves.
I mean, yeah, you can try and rally yourself by trying to do a leadership test on yourself.
Question: is this that ability? Is that just at the start of combat, or is that the beginning of every round if we're not already?
That's the beginning of the fight.
Okay.
Also, there's more to it.
Also, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
There were
Not
two
that
parts here.
Fun, but
Disquieting
wait, there's more.
creature and Quicksilver swiftness. The demonette then acts first in the initiative order as though they had seized the initiative.
Oh, good.
I mean, yay!
We can't seize the initiative back, can we?
No. So, there's a horrendous laughter that echoes through the room as this creature in the dark begins to circle. And you hear, a daughter of our creators. You will be a glorious feast for the prince. Laurel, what's your defense?
Oh boy. Not good, Bob. 2.
I appreciate the reference.
Oh!
Oh,
my
Oh, no!
God.
Okay.
What
Julia,
fuck?
what are you playing next?
Fuck.
Well, I have 6 resilience.
Okay.
You do.
So
That's something.
Now we see what the damage is. Because that's 10 extra die. That's 10 extra dice.
So these claws have 1 AP, so your resilience is reduced to 5.
Huh?
What's the base damage?
That's 12 damage.
Okay.
Was that with all the extra? Oh
Oh,
wait,
I haven't done any of those shifts. I didn't need to.
Okay.
How many below?
If you hit your max, you just hit your max.
How many below for dead?
If you go under, you're down. And
Yeah,
you
you're
get a
just
wound.
down. Hang on a minute. What is total annihilation? 1 second.
Total annihilation.
Total
First of all,
Our
annihilation.
Eldari
that
might
is
just be
by
dead.
far my favorite term for insta-dead.
Total annihilation.
Because I'll be frank with you, Lorwell got 4 wounds and 3 shock.
Total annihilation is what my mom called it when I finished my breakfast cereal in the morning.
That similar effect right here. If you suffer more wounds than your maximum wounds, you are dying. You are on the verge of expiration, unable to move or fight
to
properly.
instantly annihilate, you would have to be more than twice your maximum wounds.
Okay, we're
Which
good.
they are.
No,
Oh,
it's
wait, no,
only
okay.
7.
Okay.
It would need to be 8 in one blow to instantly kill you.
Very close.
So Lorwell drops like a sack of bricks.
So yeah, all of you, as you're shaking here in the dark, just hear this voice, and then a blur of motion passes by in what little you can see, and there's a and Lorwell falls.
Yep.
All of you get to go now. It's the only thing in the room.
See,
Aristarchus is going to jump on Laurel and try and restore some wounds.
if this had been, if we'd been tier 2, we might have stood a chance.
I'll be fine.
You will.
He's just
You'll-
murmuring
you'll-
quietly
you'll-
under his breath.
You'll just leave. You'll be so like, yep, nope, this plan is done. Bye.
You demon.
Very nice. You need 3. So how many shifts are you going to make for
Well,
extra wounds?
I'm frightened, right? So that
Oh, yeah,
goes up
so
by
you need
2.
4. You need
So
5.
Need
Yeah,
5. So there's 3 shifts available right there, I think. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, wait. 1, 2. There's 2 shifts available. You know what? Fuck it. I'm spending a wrath.
Now there are 1.
Now there
2,
are 3 shifts
Now
available.
there are 3 shifts available, yes.
Yep. So yeah, and he's just gonna pump all of that into restoring Laurel's wounds.
So you can't go over your max wounds. So you're at 4 wounds taken. So you restore 4 wounds. So you're back
Yep.
to full.
Yeah. Yeah. Aristarchus just whips out that medical mechadendrite, and Laurel, as you're laying there, you just feel it jam into your rib cage initially, and then there are a series of other punctures and injections at various points along that entire side, and you feel a rush of chemicals into you. And something has stimulated your physiology to a point.
There is a. She sits up.
I assume because this is a trap and the door's closed, we can't do an Inglorious Retreat.
And as you sit up, Laurel, Aristarchus looks at you, and then there's that very sort of almost Goonies-esque where he just... I apologize for spiking everybody's mic.
It got
speakers.
cut out by Zoom, so we didn't even hear it.
There you go.
Zoom got us covered.
Yeah, thanks, Zoom. Anyway, that's Aristarchus' turn. Knock yourselves out, everybody.
I'm going to...
So one thing immediately, Laurel, if you could roll me a d6.
Oh boy. Never liked those words, but okay.
Like a
1d6.
D6.
2.
So the heat of this strike has delivered a focused burn across your face. Where you normally have scars, there is a set of like burnt out tissue that is now like have you seen like old burn wounds on people? It looks like that right now. You have gained a memorable injury.
Ooh, boy.
I'd like to go next.
Question. Since you got dying and then sprung back up, are you still afraid?
Yes,
Does
you are
fear
very
drop
much
off
still
when
afraid.
you... Okay.
No, because it
feel
lasts
like
until
if
the end
you
of the scene
die-
or the leadership roll.
Yeah.
I feel like if you die, even if you come back, your fear is not healed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know you'd like to go next. I'd like to go next so I can try
Go
to
for
get some people remove that debuff from some people.
Go for it.
Specifically, I would like to remove that debuff from Tina.
Excellent. Thank you.
I would like to make a
Appreciate
leadership
it.
test against Tina.
Your DN is 5.
Oh, good.
I have 4 dice for this.
And you've used one of your 2 glory.
I'm gonna spend the other glory for this. Actually,
I forgot.
what can you do? What can you do when you spend glory? Are there other things that you can do? Can you
So the things you can do with glory.
auto clear fear?
Increase dice pool.
You can increase the dice pool. You can increase the damage of a successful hit. You can increase the severity of a critical hit, or you can seize the initiative.
Okay, so yeah, then I will just spend it to increase the dice pool by 1.
Wow.
What's the
Wrath?
What's I don't have any. I spent.
Oh,
I
shit.
should. What's
No, wrath, not glory.
Yes,
Wrath.
I spent both.
Oh, okay. You spent that as well. Okay. Never mind.
I think I spent both.
You only spent 1 as far
Have
as I
I spent
know.
1? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I'd spent both. Well, I'll spend my last one. 5.
That's what you needed.
Exactly what you needed.
So,
yeah.
So what do you say to rally Tina?
So I will. So seeing Tina being unusually afraid, I will take that force staff, whirl it over my head, and just whack Tina in the back of the knee. And then, when that gets a reaction, here's the fight you've been looking for.
Okay. We're gonna
And just use the combination of slight pain from a force staff hit and indication of fight to rally Tina.
Julia, do you want to go first?
No, go for it.
Okay.
The narrative dictates it. Go for it.
I'm going to try and do as much damage as orchestrally possible.
As orchestrally possible.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which I
So
think
here is where I tell you about the hitch in trying to fight a demonette.
Damn it. Okay.
It has a trait known as the allure of Slanesh.
Okay.
Attack tests made against demonettes use willpower as their attribute.
Fuck.
Range attacks use ballistic
no.
skill willpower. Melee attacks use weapon skill willpower.
Fuck.
We have categorically really good willpower amongst this group.
And psyker abilities?
We already use
Psyker abilities are
willpower.
always willpower.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that true
Damn
even of
it.
orcs? Are orcs allured by Slanesh?
That is their power.
Darn it.
It's less that they're alluring, even though that's what the ability says. It's more that their presence worms its way into your mind, and you have to fight their influence on you to even attack them.
Your willpower might be low, but your ballistic skill is high. I
Let me look at my things here. It's pretty good. It's a 3, you know?
Hey, that's
Decent.
That's 4
I'll
dice.
try it. Plus, it does pretty good damage, so we're gonna do that one.
If it's a flamethrower.
Hang on, let me look. Is it gonna show it on here for me?
Also,
No, it's not.
I like to think that right now, Aristarchus is what's the character from Deltarune Chapter 2, the salesman. What? Why is the name?
So I am gonna try and
Spampton?
Yeah, it's Phantom G. Spampton, just like face, like weird smile, jaw open far too wide, screaming loudly.
So I am gonna try and shoot this thing, even though I'm bad at it. And I'm trying to remember what salvo does because I have.
If you expend one of your 3 ammunitions,
Yeah.
Correction. If you spend the ammunition that is currently loaded in the gun,
Okay.
you can add its salvo rating as bonus dice to your attack.
Excellent. I would like to do that. My salvo rating for anything is up by 1 because I like shooting a lot. It's increased by rank, so it's increased by 1.
By 2, actually.
2. Oh yeah, because we're rank 2 now. So it's normally a salvo rating of 3. Is that correct?
Question,
What are you
I already
shooting?
add-
William.
The big shooter.
The big shooter does have a salvo rating of 3, so if you
Okay,
use, so with your
so it's
ability, it would be salvo rating of
5.
5.
Yeah.
So
Excellent.
if you want to unload that gun into this demonette, you get 5 bonus dice.
William.
Hell yes.
William, question.
Yes.
Does the leadership test against fear count as a social roll?
It does, in fact.
So I should have had 2 more dice on that roll.
You want to roll them?
Let's see if I wouldn't have needed to spend that wrath. I wouldn't have needed to spend that wrath. No, I would still have.
You still would
I
have. You would have needed to get a
a
6 and 1 more success in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would have gotten another icon then. So I would have 2 icons. Could I shift one of those icons then?
Sure. You want to add a glory in?
Yeah, add a glory back in.
Or, I will say this.
Uh-huh.
You can either add a glory in or shift to affect another target.
I would like to affect another target. I would like to affect...
Who else would you like to affect?
Laurel, who can't be outshone by the orc.
All right, so Laurel, you are also lifted
Unfeared.
from
Okay. Let's see here.
Because I get my I get my rank bonus dice to do social tests in which I invoke my Inquisitorial Master, which I did at the beginning of the fight.
Yep.
There's not a way to change the attack to willpower.
So what you're going to do
I
is
guess
just
you
roll.
want
So go
none?
to. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Add all your bonus dice, then subtract the difference between your agility and your willpower from the bonus dice, and that will mathematically do it.
What you're actually going to do is instead you're going to go to your skills
Oh.
tab,
Yep.
and you're going to change ballistic skill from agility to willpower, and then add your 5 bonus dice, and then roll that
Ballistic
test.
skill. Okay. Ballistic skill.
I mean, you can do that too, but I think
Agility.
that doesn't work because you're still rolling from the combat screen because the
Yeah, you
combat
have to roll
screen-
from the skill page rather than the combat page.
Oh, okay. All right. So skill page, ballistic skill. I get 5 bonus die here. Click out. Roll. Oh, that's a terrible roll. I'm gonna wrath.
There you go.
There.
That's better.
There you
There
go.
we go. 11.
So you can
better.
shift both of those exalted icons if you want
Hell yeah.
into, I'm assuming, more damage.
Yep. Let's do that.
So then go ahead and add. So that is your big shooter.
Yep.
Add to the DBD section. Add 2 dice.
Two
So
dice.
big shooter is a wall weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, you had an extra die on there. Roll another d6.
Sure.
Okay, it didn't change anything. If it was another 6, you could have shifted it again.
Okay. All right. 5, 2. Okay. Damage.
All right, 14 damage. Demonettes are fragile. However, I am going to invoke their ruin ability, their determination. I'm going to spend one of these ruin. It's down to 7 ruin now. And then it is going to roll. That's its determination dice. 4d6. It drops 4 of that damage. 5 of that damage. That one of those is a 6.
Yep.
And its resilience is 5. So at 9, it takes 4 wounds.
Okay.
Which, ouch, good on you.
Tina is yelling incomprehensible things.
Magnificent.
Who would like to go next?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Julia, whatever you just
Muted.
said did not come through. You might be muted on that end.
Muted myself. Sorry.
Yep, there you are.
I would like to go next.
Do it.
So okay, having experience fighting these fuckers, psyker abilities around them, bad, good.
Honestly, the best way to fight them.
Honestly, best way to fight them. Cool.
It doesn't get hindered at all. You're still working on your willpower. You're still working on the things that you can do.
Okay.
Except
Cool,
for the
cool,
DNA
cool.
increasing if you're afraid, but you're not afraid anymore.
So we're gonna roll smite. So Lorwell's going to smile at Aristarchus. Thank you. You're going to die, and then fire a lightning bolt from her right hand.
Aristarchus definitely thinks she was talking to him.
All right, roll your psychic mastery test. Ooh. Do you have wrath left to spend because you're very close to hitting it?
I have 1 because I fulfilled my.
Oh yes,
Yes.
you did. You're 1 off.
Great.
Its defense is 6.
Well, I'm okay with that because there was no bad results from using that psychic ability.
Yeah. So it you launch this blast of eldritch energy at it, and almost preternaturally it dips and bends in ways that no mortal body should be able to, and this blast of energy just careens past it. Who's next?
Lorwell will also get to her feet.
I think the only person left is Blair.
Blair, right?
Yeah, Blair would like to go. We forgot to put the stats for my new gun in.
Oh yes, you have a long last.
Yes.
I mean, if you want, you could do a leadership test to make somebody else not afraid.
I would like to hurt this.
Fair.
That seems
Reasonable.
Just go ahead and roll me a
Logical.
ballistic skill test with your willpower.
Entirely fair.
With my willpower.
Yeah. So
How do I do that?
okay. So hang on.
the agility drop-down menu across from ballistic skill. Just change that to willpower,
Okay.
and then hit that first die icon.
Gotcha.
Oh,
It's a miss. Fortunately, you have a long las, which means it's reliable, which means it ignores the first complication that happens with it.
Oh,
in a scene.
good.
So
You can spend wrath if you want to try and hit it.
Yeah.
You're only 2 off, and that would reroll 5 dice.
3
Three
off.
off.
Yeah,
3 off, but yeah.
That's right. Defense is, for some reason, I thought defense was 5.
I would like to do that though.
Hit the reroll button.
Where's...
It's in
On
the
the
chat,
dialogue.
the blue one
the chat.
at the bottom.
Oh, sorry. That's why I couldn't find it.
Hey!
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a hit. 1, 2. You can shift one of those for extra damage.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll 2d6 for your extra damage dice.
Just 2d6 total?
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
Hey!
Nice. Okay,
Extra
so
3.
it normally does 10 damage, and now it has 3 more, so 13 damage. We're going to spend another wrath to roll determination, or another ruin rather. 46. It only stops one of it.
Nice.
And again, its resilience is 5. So that's 7 damage coming through. Ow. That ain't good.
I think as the PCs, we respectfully disagree.
I like Remy on the outside of this church offering the sports commentary from the booth. We appreciate your work, sir.
And
For the folks at
Blair
home.
Blair will just stare this demon down and say, I've seen better.
And then I need to make a roll for your friend on the outside.
I hate to be the bear. Is Blair still scared, or
Yeah, that means the DN goes up by 2, which still hits.
They still
which
hit.
means that's
But
2
wouldn't be
less?
able to
I'm just
shift,
saying
yeah.
that's 2 less.
That's 1 less die.
damage, and
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
1 less damage than it would have taken.
yeah.
Because you wouldn't have been able to make that shift. Okay. Now you need to make a roll
Right.
for your friend on the outside.
What's Remy doing, by the way?
Remy's still running, I assume.
Okay. Sounds
Yep.
good.
Remy's moving.
Remy is doing his best Eric Little.
Oh no, I figure Remy's just leaving the planet at this point.
8
I like
dice.
to think of Remy with that garish shirt tearing through the hive with Vangelis playing in the background. Chariots of Fire theme all the way.
Hang on, we get an extra 2d6. That's exactly a hit, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
Hit
So
what?
one of the like stained glass windows that had been until this point completely blackened by shadow shatters inward as there is a sound like a railgun going off, because in fact a railgun is going off.
No. Okay.
As a burst of light penetrates the darkness, and the darkness is lifted for a moment as this shell passes through and punches into this demonette, who is still going to roll their resilience, but that's going to hurt a lot. I'm going to stave off 2 of it. It's a lot of damage they just took. They're not looking great, but it's their turn again. Okay. It looks around at itself. I will bring at least one of you with me into the prince's embrace. And it lashes out at both Tina and Laurel. This is going to increase the DN of its attacks by 2. So whatever your defense is, add 2 to it.
4 then total.
It doesn't try to lash out at me.
No.
Okay.
It's specifically aiming for the one who is most physically imposing to it and the one who is an Eldar.
Gotcha.
Little does it know that this is all like sheepwool situation.
So it just hits Tina,
Yep.
and it misses Laurel.
Excellent.
So that's 13 damage coming at Tina with a -1 to your AP. So whatever your resilience is, -1.
Okay, so that's 10 then. So I take
So
3.
3 wounds coming at you.
Well, that's fine then. I'm still good.
Who would like to go next?
I would like to go next because there's still people that have fear effects on them. I would like to continue trying
Try
to
and rally
rally the
yourself.
people that do damage. No, I'm gonna rally player. With my bonuses to this because I have rank 2 now.
Huzzah.
Oh,
That's short, and unfortunately.
Yep, nope, I'm out of
now
stuff.
you're at the. Yep.
Hang on. We do have. I'm not gonna spend a glory because I would have to get an exalted icon, and someone else could potentially use that to shoot it. So that's my turn. I try and fail. It's just too dark, and I'm stumbling, and I'm also
who's next?
feared still. So
I'd like to go next unless anyone has any objections.
Go
Alright.
for it.
Go ahead.
Norwell, go.
We're gonna try that smite again.
Hell yeah.
That's a hit.
All right, cool.
Roll your D3. Or is it, what is the mortal wounds on smite?
it's
Hang on.
just 1d3 mortal wounds.
Yeah,
Yep.
1d3 mortal wounds.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll. It can try and soak mortal wounds with determination, so it's gonna try. Gonna drop another ruin. It only soaked one. It only had one wound left.
Yeah.
Norwell, how do you want to do this?
So seeing her allies,
Can it
seeing
soak
the-
mortal wounds?
Yes, demons can roll determination against mortal wounds.
seeing the railgun old light that just happened, and seeing everything, watching Tina get attacked, Laurel just stabs her sword into the ground, holsters her gun again, and then just sort of like anime protagonist aims,
Hand.
and then straight into the chest of this thing.
Yeah, a bolt of eldritch lightning just blasts out of your hand and punches through a clean hole directly through the torso of this eldritch being. And it falls, it begins to limp backwards and sort of staggers on its feet and looks directly into your eyes, Laurel. Even if you win this, your kind is doomed. You can never escape the prince.
Could I interrupt
And
it
it
with the force staff like
begins-
mid
And
word?
it just falls and dissipates and just fades from reality. Almost like dust disappearing on the wind.
She will reach up and just cradle the wound on her face. I'm going to be the Eldari to drive a sword through your prince's heart.
And it's at that point the door is kicked open, and Ema, carrying that big heavy rifle that she just fired, comes stomping in as light returns to the room. Fucking warp spawn!
I just have this image of door kicked in, everybody's guns.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, sort of still running on adrenaline.
Has the fear receded then
Yes,
from everybody?
It is the end of the encounter. The fear has faded.
Eye patch goes back
Okay.
on quickly.
And as you all take a breath and try and take in what the hell just happened, that is where we will end for the week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Ah!
Bye.
Good.
Dinosaur story.
Bye.